Hi, it's Tuesday, December 21st, 2021, North Tabor Neighborhood Association meeting. And let's see what's first on our agenda. Just kind of some general introductions. And we have a pretty small crowd today. So yeah, do you want to go around and introduce ourselves? I'll start. I'm CJ, we use they, them pronouns. I'm the chair as of last month, I think. And then I'll pass it over to Ross.
Good evening, Ross Heiner. I'm the vice chair as of last meeting.
Woo. Sarah, why don't you say who you are?
Sarah Monk, 63rd in Oregon, and I'm the secretary. I have been since 2017, I think.
Wow.
So.
Oh yeah, and I'll throw in that I'm over at 60th and Burnside. I'm just on the border north of Burnside. Patty, where are you at? Oh, you're muted.
Patty lives at 56th and Northeast Flanders Street, and I am the treasurer.
Ooh. And Kim, I see you just got on.
Yeah, hopefully my sound's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
you sound good.
Great. I'm at near 60th and Davis Burnside area as well.
Oh, great. And I guess just you, John.
Oh yeah, well I'm the new guy. We're at the Tabor Apartments, and we're here because we're close to our daughter who was at has a home at 335 Northeast Street, I guess, or Avenue. I'm still learning all that.
Well, yeah. John's been here a month and it's got just from LA, and it's got two daughters who own houses around here.
Right, they just moved up, and they have two grandkids and maybe another on the way. So we're up here to help out and be around the grandkids.
Oh yeah, well that's nice. I've got a 6-year-old, so I've got a little bit of
A little time to work.
grandkids.
Yeah, hey, you have a lot to look forward to.
Cool, thank you. And then you said when you say and one thing I realized moving to Portland is everyone pronounces things the opposite of the way I would. Like come here saying to like Mount Tabor, and then everyone says no, it's Tabor.
Oh, Tabor. Okay, I'm sorry.
Like, okay, I'll take it.
Tabor sounds good too. I don't.
Yeah, Tabor's. I mean, we say Tabor in Israel, but I guess we're just gonna ride. Are you in the? Because I know there's the Tabor Apartments just south of me on 60th. Are you in those?
It's what is it? 5625, right across from the QFC.
Okay, that's close.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, welcome everyone.
Thank you.
Let's see. We can't really approve last month's minutes. Gosh, I can't even remember really a lot of what we talked about last month. Oh, we were doing the electing officers we did last month. Okay.
Right.
Well, we'll skip that for now.
And Robert cannot join us from Scotland. He's sleeping.
Oh, poor guy. Good for him. Let's see. Usually we do some communications updates, but it looks like we don't have our communications people for the most part. But did Jude get out a newsletter email?
We didn't get out a newsletter this month. Jules was really busy, but I think we're gonna regroup in January, and because now we've got like Suzanne and me and Ross has joined the group a little bit. So what we did is we kind of divided out a few tasks. So Suzanne's gonna tackle Facebook and getting Facebook posts out there, and possibly next door. We were getting permissions and stuff this month, making sure Suzanne can post things. So, and then I was organizing I've moved all of the meeting minutes and archived everything I've had on the Google Drive, and I've moved it over to the North Tabor Google Drive and documents. So everything's there, and I'm going through and organizing everything by year. So I started in on it. I haven't finished it yet. Just Christmas and life is, and winter break starting, everything was a little crazy around here. So I'm hoping that'll get all organized, and then we are gonna kind of regroup we're gonna kind of have a committee meeting around the first part of the month. So
Mhm.
then we can kind of set ourselves up and get some ideas for the newsletter to get emailed out. And I know that Jules needs to connect with Patty to get the debit cards so we can start hopefully getting some more, get a few more things hooked up so we can capture more emails to our emailing list and distribution, so we can get more people kind of knowing what's going on and stuff. So Ross, is that about what we talked about? I feel like they're kind of the recap.
That sounds right. I
Okay.
thought I did see a newsletter go out.
Maybe there was. My email's been like, I've been kind of a little bit behind on that. So I did
didn't
see, I don't think so. I did send 1 or 2 things to Jules, but I don't know if she had the time to get that out before the meeting. But I think after Christmas, we're going to kind of regroup and get stuff. And possibly she could show me how to do the newsletter. So if I could be backup. So if she can't do it, at least I currently still have the bandwidth. So if I could help and like push that out and send it out to everybody. So that's kind of an item on the communications committee agenda for next month. So we're just kind of, because now we have a little committee. So now we're getting organized and gonna get a game plan going. So
Great.
here we go.
And Sarah, I don't have Jules's email address, but I did walk by her house and it appeared that she might not even be in town, or
Okay.
or
I didn't.
maybe wasn't when I went by there.
Okay. So I will send you Jules' email address,
Yeah.
and then I think I might also have her cell number, so you guys can connect up that way. So if she can text you and say, hey, can I get you guys can get and it's the purchases, we've already approved them. We approved them like in October for her to spend money. So she just needs that to set that up, so then she can do her math. I'm not the web person, so that's her realm, but to make her magic and do some Facebook stuff. And I think we're gonna need a true MailChimp account, and that's something that she was gonna set us up with. So then instead of using the free one, and it's totally within that dollar amount we approved. So
that being said, Robert said that I would not let that debit card out of my site, but I would pay for whatever she needs.
Right. And we want it. It's not like we're going to like take the card from you, but you just need to get to Jules, so then she can put the number in and then get a receipt to you.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
that's the important part.
Yeah. Just so you know.
Yeah. Totally.
Okay.
So that's what we've got on the communication side.
Thanks, Sarah. So it sounds like, Suzanne kind of handling some Facebook next door. It sounds like you're doing a lot of Google Drive, organizing, archiving, and then maybe backup for the newsletter. And then Jules' primary newsletter, and then perhaps the website person.
Yes. We kind of divided out the tasks that we all felt comfortable with doing. And so that way it's not all on one person. So it's
that sounds
a
great.
little bit spread out. So, and I know Suzanne couldn't come tonight. She had plans. I think she was seeing her dad. So that's that.
I might talk to Suzanne and see if I can get her to be the admin of the North Tabor Nextdoor group. I think I'm going to retire my Nextdoor posting.
Yeah, it gets I'm off of Nextdoor right now. I needed a break, but anyway, I know Suzanne's on there. So, and she does a lot of social media for her own business. And so she said it's pretty easy when she goes in like once a week and does some Facebook stuff, that it'd be easy for her to just do our Facebook and post, meeting reminders. Or I was going to send her things that are community related around Glencoe, because my kid's at Glencoe. So if there's something that we can advertise a little bit and get a little bit of community help, that's kind of, I was gonna try and feed her that type of stuff, because we do have families that live that go to Glencoe in our neighborhood. So
Okay. And are we still connected to, gosh, I'm trying to remember her last name. I think her first name's Carol, who is is the lead for North Tabor, and I think used to be a North Tabor board person some years ago. Want to Carol?
no, not Carol, but it's she was former.
Yeah.
She used to do the website.
Okay.
Patty, who is that? I can't remember her name.
I don't remember either.
She did the newspaper. Robert knows her.
Oh,
Yeah.
she did the newspaper. Well,
Yeah, that was long.
Robert's wife Candace did the newspaper for years.
It wasn't Candace, it was the other woman.
Well, either she's the other North Tabor next door person. So I know that she was
Oh,
in the past. So I was always like, well, if she wants to get back involved, she's online. She's on there pretty regularly. But we'll figure that out.
Okay.
Lisa, I saw you kind of wander in. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Lisa Maddox. I'm the Land Use and Transportation Committee representative, along with Lars. And we have not had meetings for several months, and now Leah has left. So I got a notice that they will resume in January. So hopefully we'll have some news to share in January. And I'm
Cool.
sorry I missed last month's meeting. I like totally forgot about it. So
Okay.
anyway.
That's fine. And yeah, and Lisa, we always have you introduce. We have got one new person, John, here, who just moved up from LA about a month ago to be closer to daughters and
All right.
grandchildren.
Nice. Welcome,
Yeah.
John.
Thank you.
Best reason to move somewhere.
It is.
Absolutely.
Let's see, it's communications. The next order of business is Kim and I went to the Southeast Uplift meeting. And Kim, maybe you have a better memory of everything than I did. I took notes, but I still I'll tell you what I remember from Southeast, and then you can.
I did too.
Yeah, I remember we talked about Nancy, the new executive director, who's been doing it for a month and a half or 2 months, it feels like. Gave her
Yes.
presentation on their collective vision, the goals, the big picture stuff.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit about the obstacles I didn't know about. Apparently the city used to give 5-year grants that now they're 1-year grants. And so there's a lot more of having to continually apply and that's been kind of so there's some changes that they're trying to make on a city level. They talked a lot about their equity, their diversity equity work. They have a bunch of websites and mission statements on their website about it. They are also looking for officers right now. It looks like trying to find regular board members. It sounds like, and other people here probably have more history than me, but it sounds like they had maybe some bad blood or some conflicts on their board that made it an uncomfortable place for some people. And so they're kind of, with new people they're trying to bring in now and try to get things back on track. And what did you pick up, Kim, from your first visit?
I will underscore the takeaways that you've noted, which is that there's quite a bit of conflict in the past that seems to be still boiling up a little bit in their meetings, but it seems like there's a great interest in them redefining themselves in terms of how they operate and function as a whole. They're getting bigger. A lot of the decisions that seem to be made during the meeting were a little bit minuscule, like they were getting into the weeds about certain things that I couldn't pick up on, but was learning in the process. But I think the big takeaways were Southeast Uplift is trying to do a little bit of reinventing themselves using a third party representative to help kind of influence and consult them on how to run a program really effectively and efficiently for a diverse neighborhood group, which seems to be kind of the basis of where the conflict came from in the beginning. But getting away from the conflict side, it sounds like this organization is if anyone here, especially John, who's new, is not aware, Southeast Uplift is kind of one of 5 major networks that is the city's effort to try and support neighborhood associations like ourselves.
Oh, good.
And so they've got their own system of boards and committees that try to give grants that are funded from the city and divvy them out to the neighborhoods to try and support the idea of neighborhood development and support. And so those were the takeaways that I had from last meeting, is kind of the high level understanding of what they wish and want to do, and the fact that they are undergoing strong redevelopment or significant redevelopment. How they go about doing all that is still kind of to be determined. It sounds like they're really still flushing out a lot of that. So one thing I'd be super curious, I know we have a small group tonight, but in future meetings or maybe in side conversations, is understanding the history of our representation within that Southeast Uplift group, and then what, from a standpoint of representing North Tabor Neighborhood Association, who and how that looks within Southeast Uplift. Should it continue to be, say, someone like CJ and myself, or do we need to elect a representative to do that officially? And is that what Stephanie was doing beforehand? Are some of my main questions, but maybe that's enough fodder for conversation about what we need to do with Southeast Uplift.
And that might be a good.
CJ, did you have any?
That is-
I was just, and I think Lisa has something to add too, it looks like, but like, I think I was just gonna say, you and me and Stephanie and probably Robert too, and Ross, I think we all have like some chatting to do about what things look like in the past versus what they're like now, and kind of like all caught up. Lisa, you unmuted. You had something?
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, Stephanie, just what you guys were saying, she would come back from the meetings and say there was a lot of uproar about, there was like bickering and just not a very cohesive group is what it kind of sounded like. And I think, has she stepped down, or has she been going to meetings?
She stepped down.
Yeah, that's what I thought a couple meetings ago, but I wasn't sure. So thank you guys for going to the meeting and representing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Sure.
it seems like a great opportunity. I'm actually really curious how, from a funding standpoint, we connect with them, and what the strength can be there, what the effort can be to try and help them support us, I guess.
Yeah. You were saying, Patty?
Well, Kim, I could just point you to Stephanie because she was fantastic. She's very well versed. She's very broad-sided, and she knows what has been going on in the change of the leadership there, where one person moved back to Spokane who was fantastic. At any rate, long and short of it is, I think if you got a hold of her, you'd be pleasantly surprised at a meeting with her and how that looks. Yeah. And
yeah,
Robert,
after actually yes, I will say, after getting a chance to walk through the development, I forget the name of it, that we walked through and toured.
oh, right. Yeah.
I'm forgetting the name of it, but I did walk with her a little bit and question her a bit about
The 52nd Street?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
You weren't there. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I have not, honestly, I have, like Sarah was talking about, kind of getting off North Tabor, next door. Things, there's just been too much stimulation, too much. So I kind of disconnected for a while. So I saw that invitation to go and tour the 52nd Street buildings too late. So how was it? What do they look like?
I think she's trying to tell us.
Let's hear
Oh,
it.
sure.
I got that.
Yeah, and I created an account. I can share it with somebody here if people want to see it and post it anywhere. But it sounds the project's really interesting. It sounds like it's been a long time in the making, but they're trying to be a community it's a developer community. They'll rent to start with the hopes that maybe in the future they would become condos. But they're focused on a smart house kind of application where everything in your house is kind of run from your phone. You can control and kind of modify your lifestyle to be more efficient, either fiscally or energy wise. They did tour us through the most amazing unit of the space, which has a nice northwest corner overlook looking towards the north. So I think they're beautiful units. They're certainly spacious enough and have a great layout. So from an architectural or development standpoint, I think it's a really nice space that they're creating. The courtyard in the middle is kind of offset and it's blocked off from the traffic and the sound and the noise from Burnside. So it feels a little bit more peaceful in that courtyard cluster. So I think it's a great development, really positive for the neighborhood. And Patty, based on what I heard you guys saying, you were really impressed with the contractor's responsible approach to being a good neighbor during construction. So that read through pretty strongly. So we do have some photos. I'll try and distribute that to the right people, maybe CJ or Leah, to get them on the website, or if that's something we want to do. But anyways, I guess one thing I was saying back to Southeast Uplift is that I got a chance to talk with Stephanie on the way back, and she did give me a little bit more information into the history of that committee or organization. And she seems to be still very positive about it. She found another love that she wanted to invest more time in, but she seems pretty optimistic with the people who are in charge now, and was very supportive of us trying to stay on board and be involved. So my big question now is, how do we do that, and what does it look like, and how do we organize ourselves in a way to have strong connections without Southeast Uplift and know what we need or want from them.
Lisa?
Which might be multiple meetings in the making.
Yeah.
Sorry, getting back to the 52nd Street project. How big were the units and how much are they renting for?
Oh, great questions that I don't have the answer to.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. I was just,
they were 2 stories, 2 bedrooms
Yeah.
upstairs, each with their own bathroom, full bath, ensuite bath, and then downstairs was a half bath kitchen, open floor concept.
so they're townhouses then.
Kind of, they're all connected. So yeah, a series of townhouses.
Okay.
Just 2-story.
Yeah, the guys were great. They were trying to keep, the 2 stories, trying to keep it, not monstrosity in the neighborhood. And they, they gave a really good presentation. Patty, was that summer before last? Two summers before COVID, or was it?
Well, the developer changed, so that was all null.
Oh, okay. I remember we were outside, so it had to be during COVID. I think it was last summer.
Oh, yeah. Is
They
this
came.
at 52nd and Burnside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's two blocks from here. Yeah.
Yeah, it's real close to you and
Yeah,
close to
yeah.
UFC, and I drive by it all the time. We had the guy come and talk at our meeting not too
That's cool.
bad, right? But yeah, I also wanted to know how much everything costs, but we'll find out eventually.
Well, they're going to appeal to a higher caliber of renter. So it's going to be anywhere from, I want to say, 26 was the highest, and I don't remember exactly what the lowest cost, but I think it was 18 maybe per unit. So yeah.
And no parking, right?
No.
Yeah, I think they made the choice, and I think that's a conversation. And John, we're gonna have that conversation a lot. the part
Yeah,
conversation, especially when it comes to development. Like the fun
definitely.
neighborhood associations here is that we get to talk to all the developers about
Oh, that's good.
and
Right. Just think, bigger city, and this is how it goes, I mean,
We're not a bigger city. We're a small, we need parking.
We
Yeah.
are a small city we used to be a small city that now
Right.
has large city problems that don't know, and we don't know how to have a government to handle it.
we have
Maybe
So there you go.
yeah, we're transitional and we should probably, have we had anyone here to talk about the city charter process and how they're readdressing that? Have we had
No, but we do need someone. I think we should get not to butt in on our
we're casual.
topic there. So I think we should probably have somebody come in February and March and talk about, because that is going to be on, I think, either May or November's ballot next year.
Yeah.
And my sister works for the Portland Business Alliance, and they are very well, which used to be the chamber.
Mhm.
And they are a big supporter of changing the charter for the city of Portland because it doesn't function currently as it is. So, but we do need someone. I mean, I think we should get it on both sides. I think there's a side that doesn't want to change it and there's a side that does want to change it. And I think we should present both sides if we're going to bring somebody in.
Yeah.
And I think I can ask her and see if she's got a contact for somebody on the campaign for change. I don't know. We're gonna have to probably dig around and find someone they don't support it, but I'm thinking February and March might be our time to bring somebody in. I can't remember if it's gonna be on the May ballot or November.
Yeah.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know which one they're gonna hit the most.
Yeah.
I think it depends on what's gonna be on that ballot as to when they're gonna put it on, so they can have the most support. If they're gonna compete with something that the school district's gonna put on there, then I don't know. I mean, you might get more people to come out. It just kind of, I think it kind of depends. I think this is gonna be a hot topic that's gonna be discussed a lot next year.
Yeah, it's been hot. And I was gonna say, when you brought up that you had your you said your sister who's connected with the PBA. Yeah,
Mhm.
like the people I'm connected with are very much not necessarily, they're not huge fans of Portland Business Alliance, but they're also fans of changing the
Yeah.
charter from a different
Right.
way. I know lots of people
Yeah.
who change it in various ways. I
Yeah.
don't know anyone who doesn't. I guess there's probably people who just don't want to change anything. I'm sure we can find them.
Probably could.
But yeah, right now, for anyone who hasn't been following it, the city charter, I think every 10 years we get a group together to go over it and revise and suggest changes. And one of the hot topics that's on there right now is the changing the Portland system of government to maybe having like a city manager,
Mhm.
and like changing the system that we have for like, what do we have, like
So currently, our
members?
city,
Yeah.
yeah, so we have a counselor-based system
Mhm.
with a mayor that sits at the same level as all the commissioners. So our electing a mayor in the city of Portland is a non-power position because he or she sits at the same level as all of the other city commissioners. Another bad thing is our city commissioners are not elected from their neighborhood. If there's an opening across town in Southwest Portland, I live in Northeast, I could run for that position, and the commissioners do not represent the neighborhood that they live in. And that needs to change. They need to represent the neighborhood or borough or whatever we're going to call ourselves. Usually we call it a neighborhood. They need to live in that neighborhood to get elected to that position. And that's a big change. And because people in what we call East Multnomah County, like my aunt and uncle who live in Portland, but they're on 165th and Multnomah, which is the very edge of Multnomah County and going into Gresham, that they don't have they don't have anybody on the city commissioner. All the city commissioners all live in inner inner Portland.
Mhm.
So East County gets nothing. They don't get any representation. And that's where a lot of our people of color and people of lower economic households have all moved, because that's where the cheaper rent is. So
Mhm.
now you have a lot of people, a lot of families out there that have no representation. They have no sidewalks. They have no paved roads. They have some of the highest alley gravel roads in all of Multnomah County. Not safe walking to school situations. So that is definitely something that needs to change.
Yeah. So I think,
So
I think-
that's our big, that's how the city of Portland is run. I mean, I'm a native, just like Patty. I've lived here all my life. And we have outgrown this way of government a long time ago.
And I think now I think this election, I mean, we've had this come up time and time again, and nobody's ever paid attention. But I think this time people are going to want to pay attention, just
Yeah.
because the last couple of years have
Mhm.
shown its face. I would love to see if we could get Mingus Matz to come and speak, but I'm not sure, he's so busy. I sent a note to his office, but didn't ever get a response. So anyway.
Hmm.
I also have an interest in getting the developer from the new business that's going to go on up on Gleason at 55th, between 53rd and 55th. There's that big building it's going to go in.
Yes.
I'm interested in contacting him and having him show up. So with your permission, I will just invite him to the next opening slot
Yeah.
that he has, and we could work around that if that's okay with everybody.
What was the last, what was, I mean, I heard, this is which development, Patty?
It's on Gleason, and it's from 55th going west about a block and a half.
And they wanted to come and talk at one of our meetings?
So I want them to come and talk. I don't think they want to, but I was going to try to contact them and see if they would.
Okay. I was
I
under
mean, they might. yeah.
future agenda. I want to put, yeah, because one, I want to see, because I did city charter stuff, I think we definitely should have at least one full meeting, with multiple, but at least one that's dedicated to having someone come and kind of go over it, and then have time for us to kind of get into it. And maybe we can explore if we as a neighborhood association want to submit our opinions, recommendations, because they're asking for all the advice and they're asking for input,
Mhm.
and they're going to make their own recommendations. The committee, there's pretty good people on there. I've like read a lot of their bios and listened to them talk at some of the city club events. They're like pretty with it. So it'd be very interesting to see what they come up with. But yeah, we'll put an agenda for that. And then also the Gleason 55th developer, see if they'll come and talk to us. And Ross, you needed to share something? I can make you the host. I usually can make someone a co-host, but I can't find the button for that right now.
Okay, for the next agenda item, I was gonna share.
All
my
right, you're the
screen.
host. Oh, wait, I don't want to change it to you. I want to change it to you. All right, you're the host.
Okay, so it looks like we've worked through the agenda, I guess, kind of unofficially with we haven't approved the minutes since we don't have quorum, but I guess, have we gotten the treasurer's report? Anything to report there, Patty?
I'll just report the bottom line. 2864.08 is our balance. I don't think you've cashed your check yet, Sarah. Yeah. Sarah there?
Where am I?
Where are you?
I'm right here.
Did you get that, Sarah?
When did you drop that check off? Because I haven't found it.
I put it in your mailbox in the house, in the house. store.
Oh, Okay, I will go look. We don't check that one. We always check the big black
Well, I
box,
didn't
so,
even see that until I left. I mean,
okay,
I
okay,
didn't see that I could slip it in the back.
gotcha.
It's
I
in the-
will go look. I will pull that out and deposit that. Thank you.
Okay,
And what was the last number? It was 28, what was it?
28,
28,
2864.08. It's probably the same.
okay, perfect. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
I get that. Perfect. It's
Okay.
in,
Okay.
Okay, so that's the bottom line from the treasurer. I think we kind of gave a summary of the communications update. So we're good there. And then this item we've discussed as far as the southeast uplift, and then also discussed the tour at was held at the 52nd and Burnside development. So that's, I think we're on track. What I suggested we add to the agenda is kind of just a review of the bylaws, and for the benefit of some of the new officers, including myself and other board members. And so I can share that and kind of go through a couple of things that I found interesting and highlighted. So this is the bylaws here. They're pretty short and sweet, which is nice, that they're pretty easily digestible. And so a couple of things, or the purpose, what is the real purpose and intent of this neighborhood association? I think that's something we should probably read and evaluate, and maybe come to some future meetings with ideas on how we can achieve some of these purposes, enhance the livability of the neighborhood. And then I think a big role is probably this communication and liaison amongst the neighborhood government agencies and other neighborhoods, how we actually execute that. Especially, I've been involved with the board for the past year. I'm not sure exactly what the protocols are, and how the formal ways that we engage, or informal ways we engage with some of those other neighborhoods and government agencies. And so I think getting involved with the change to potential changes to the city charter, that's certainly an important effort, but then also development and land use and transportation issues. What are those touch points and nodes that we have with the decision makers at the city government? And I think that's something I would like to learn over the next year for sure. The boundaries, there's just a kind of a nitpicky thing that I found with with the maps that are published on the website and our Facebook page. There's a little bit of discrepancy from what Portland Maps has and what's written here in the charter, which are consistent. This is consistent with what Portland Maps has as defining the North Tabor neighborhood versus our map on our website. So I have oops, that's a calendar. A proposed map that we could update. And I think there's a small area here that at 39th and 49th and Burnside near Ash. This block is a little bit is shown on our map as being in the neighborhood, but it's might not be according to the description. And then this block along 69th Street is another discrepancy.
Can you enlarge that a little bit?
Sure. A little bit better.
Then north on 68th to Halsey. And so,
Yeah, so the description is 68th. I think the map that we have on the website shows it extending up on 69th.
oh, well, are you sure 68th just doesn't jut over there? I can't really see. Because what's this street right here? I don't know if you can see my pointer.
I cannot.
Darn. Because it seems like when I'm walking that way, that street might, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think 68th is actually like a street right here. It's,
It's not a, I don't
Not
think
dead end. It's like a
68th
park.
is through street. There's no, right up, because that's Rosemont Bluff is that green, really dark green. That's the only park we have in our neighborhood.
Right.
And right on top of that is apartments. So if you walk up, and I don't know what that street is, it's kind of like an alley up there, maybe, I don't know. I haven't been up there in a while.
But I do know, I'm pretty sure that that part is part of our neighborhood. It seems to me that Robert and I've walked that before. But I'm not, I guess I can't be positive without having a map that I can see the streets.
yeah,
Okay.
so this is a screenshot from Portland Maps.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah, this is probably a better view, which shows that the neighborhood boundaries.
Yeah, and I think like Sarah says, that's an apartment building and that's the street behind it.
Right, so the park and the
Mhm.
juvenile center
Mhm.
are
Mhm.
within our neighborhood boundaries, but that apartment
And,
looks like
okay,
it's
there.
outside.
Yeah, and so you're, yeah, and so it's showing it going a tiny bit across Halsey there, right?
It's just the intersection.
Yeah, I don't know if it would affect any of our active members, but you know, it's just something to probably a very minor thing.
Well, I'll tell you who would have the poop on that would be Candace and Robert, so we can check with them because they know all that stuff from newsletter days, you know?
Yeah,
where's
so I
the
guess-
racetrack?
Yeah,
So
my
part of the racetrack. So I see part of, so down the jut out past Burnside, can you go up a little bit? So where we come, at 49th, so I didn't realize that the racetrack is part of us. So my sister and I walked over in this neighborhood one day and we were talking to one of the older neighbors in the neighborhood. And he was telling us that this used to be an old racetrack way back in the teens and the 20s. Because
interesting.
most of these houses in here they're very similar styled and they were all built in the late 40s and 50s to about 55. 49th. And there's that huge house right here that sits on this, you can see this big lot right here. Between 49th and 47th. That is one lot. That's
Stark Street,
yeah, off Stark. That's that
yeah,
really
yeah.
fancy house.
right,
I bet you somebody from California bought it. It was like on the market for almost $2 million.
right.
So that used to be part of the racetrack. That was the guy who owned the racetrack. And right behind him was the horse racetrack.
I gotcha.
And you can see where there was a racetrack. It went around, they have curved corners and everything, and they just built houses in the middle and around it. I didn't realize that was part of our neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's a
we've handed-
fascinating little neighborhood back in
Yeah.
there.
We handed flyers out for our neighborhood through there, so I know it is for sure.
So there you go. There's an old horse
That is an
racetrack
awesome story. Thank you.
in our
Sharon.
in our
Yeah,
neighborhood.
love
I
that.
found out. Yeah, and this, yeah, the little jut out, and I think
And-
that's because there's right here. That's interesting how one side of the street on 49th is not, and the other side is.
Right, and it's the same thing on 44th down there by Providence. The east side of 44th is ours and the west side is
Mhm.
not.
Mhm.
Yeah, they got to divide it somehow, I guess.
Right, and 47th is the one that goes straight across right by the hospital.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I guess, you know, my suggestion is that we'll update the
Yeah,
map that's on the website and that we more accurately describe the borders. So,
mhm.
did you
We
have
can-
something, CJ?
I'm nodding along. I think that'd be
Right.
nice to update, because especially since we're like kind of revamping and reorganizing
Mhm.
in general, might as well make sure we're topped up and got everything updated.
well, we better make sure we're we're doing it correctly though, before we make any changes.
Yeah, the only minor parts that differed from what's currently on the website is this few houses here on 49th and south of Burnside, and then
The 80.
this
or
stretch here on between 68th
60.
and 69th.
Okay.
Anyways, I think that's pretty minor. So a couple other things I found interesting. We had our general meeting last month as far as voting on the board membership, or I guess that was 2 months ago, in October. So that's required once a year, which seems like we're keeping up with that. A lot of this details with agenda and quorum, it seems like we're pretty in step with, based on what I've observed. And then, obviously as a new board member, I was curious what the duties, are. And so, pretty general as far as manage the daily affairs of the neighborhood association, keep it running, I guess. Represent the neighborhood association when appropriate, more or less, and then appoint committees to perform functions. It seems like we have an active communications or newsletter committee at this time, according to some archives that are still on the website. We had a more active land use and transportation committee that had separate meetings, it seemed like, of neighborhood subcommittee in the past. So it's something that probably also needs to be, updated on our website to reflect the current activities. But then, one thing that definitely struck me was this establish a yearly work plan of priority issues and projects for maintaining and encouraging involvement in the neighborhood association. I think that's something we could probably all think about over the next month and come to the next meeting with some ideas on for 2022, what are kind of some of those priorities or projects to involve ourselves with as a neighborhood association.
Yeah, I think that'll be a great kind of January agenda piece, is that we list out our priorities for the year.
And then, our regular board meetings, we're meeting the requirement of at least 5 regular board meetings every year. I think we're advertised the time and date pretty well of all the monthly meetings that we're having now. So that seems to be effective. But I guess we have room or to adjust our frequency and time and date if the board so chooses. But I think I don't have any reason to suggest we change at this point. What else did I highlight here? Yeah, I guess this newsletter we're pretty much doing electronically now, but I think meeting at least the intent back from 2013 of publicizing the neighborhood activities, and I think just in a more electronic means. So that's good. And then maybe one in light of some of the discussion with our representation on Southeast Uplift and some of the other government entities, is what are the duties of those representatives or that we have representing the neighborhood association on, let's say, Southeast Uplift. And I think there was a discussion part of the Southeast Uplift board about when there's a vote to endorse some sort of letter or position, what does that mean if you're representing the neighborhood association on the Southeast Uplift board? Do you need to get your approval from your neighborhood association before you can vote? on a matter within, acting as a representative or a delegate to that committee. I don't know if others have thoughts or comments on that topic.
Well, I will say Robert is quite clear about not ever sending recommendations without knowing what the whole board and general membership is standing behind. So we can take a note from his playbook on that, I think. Yeah. If that means anything.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of different, if you're in a representative role, the way this is written, I interpret it to mean that you're representing the neighborhood association, and you should be, kind of getting the board or general membership's input and potentially a vote on a matter, whether you want to endorse or abstain or vote adverse to some measure that is being presented within another committee that you're representing the neighborhood association on, or have a liaison role, which is more just observing and reporting back to the neighborhood association.
Correct.
So I think that's pretty much, the things that jumped out at me that were interesting. I didn't see any real reason to go through to recommend revisions or review.
I would like to say we do need to revise a few things in here.
Okay.
Most neighborhood association bylaws have members commit a 2-year commitment. We only have a 1 year. And so for a while there, we had a lot of turnover. So trying to get anything done was very hard. We didn't get anything done. And for a while there, back when I was voted on in 2017, there were some people that were very vocal and then moved on and left a lot of us hanging in limbo on how to take care of stuff. So I feel like, and I don't know, we might want to have a discussion on this. Robert has his own opinion and I agree with him on that. And possibly looking at other neighborhood associations like North Tabor. They have a huge involvement with their neighborhood association and what their requirement is for their board members. Possibly, we can look at Montevilla. I know they have had, their neighborhood association has gone through some rough patches in the last couple of years. So it'd be good to look at their bylaws and see what they've done. We can look at Laurelhurst. They're just neighboring ones that just the three of them just surround us. And so I kind of think that this needs to be talked about. And I think we need to have it changed. Just to have some continuation on board members, just to keep some continuity with the group. I was in a position that I was like elected and then I'm secretary and then I was like, okay, then I'm helping the chair that got elected and the whole executive board left. So we were trying to figure out, what do we do? We read the bylaws. This is what we're going to do. So, and this was recommended by Southeast Uplift quite a few years ago by a couple of representatives that we should get this looked at and changed because most of the other neighborhood associations has changed this term of office clause in their bylaws. So that's just me. That's my opinion. But I think we need to see what other neighborhood associations have done. And if they have gone to a 2-year, we need to align ourselves with with them to make sure that our language, everything's transparent across neighborhood associations.
Sarah, I think you're spot on. So this is not a, so the bylaws are not across the board for every neighborhood. Every
Correct.
neighborhood makes up their own.
They have a boilerplate and then they add in things. So the last time this was updated was 2013. And I can't remember, my husband was on the neighborhood association a long time ago when it imploded, like dissolved. So I don't know if this update came out of that. And I mean, every board has a bylaws to operate. And this came probably from Southeast Uplift, and there's a boilerplate. But as a neighborhood association, we can vote to change the verbiage or the requirements, depending on what it is. And so like the newsletter part, the terms, I mean, we're told by demographics and how many people live in our neighborhood association depends on how many board members. And I don't know, we could go back to the last census, which was done, and we just had a census done in 2020, that we can see where our population is, and Southeast Uplift should have that. Or we can look it up and see if we need to up our board members, because we possibly have more people living in our neighborhood association, and we can possibly have more people on our board than what we have. Our minimum is 5 people, and I think our minimum should be changed because we probably have more high density housing now in our neighborhood than we ever did in 2013. So we probably could, our requirement is probably up, and the amount of board members, we might be up to 16 or 17 board members now. So I think number of board members needs to be reviewed, and term of office. And that's kind of the nitty gritty stuff. But I think those are the 2 items that we need to talk about in January. And we probably need to get a little bit more information, especially population wise, on number of board members and what we are allowed. And as a board, we can talk about how many years, but I think we need to do a little research and maybe talk about that in January.
I agree. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, I'm going to put that on the agenda for sure. And then Ross and I will come up with our agenda for next time. But Ross, did you have more you wanted to say about the bylaws?
Maybe one thing here at the bottom is our public meeting and public records requirement. I think the standard is to publish agenda and meeting minutes for each of the meetings. We have Zoom at this point, and that allows for the recording of the meetings. I think we've taken the position, it appears, to publish those and put those on YouTube. I don't know how people feel about that. I know there's a lot of, personal details that get shared, informally at these meetings, and people might not want those to be publicly shared online. So maybe that is a point of discussion or a vote for a future meeting, is what our standard for meeting this article is.
All right.
That sounds good, because we can always go, if we decide that we don't want like personal emails or phone numbers that I put in the meeting minutes, then I can go back and redact them, just black them out. And that's something that we can talk. I mean, in 2013, when these were created, we weren't doing this type of stuff. So that's a great topic that we should discuss.
Correct. And we can still use the board as the board at for, contact.
That's true.
Well, you think about it, and it's like everything's being recorded at these meetings. I mean, it's just, at the old meetings when we met in person, nobody had a camera out or, you know, a tape recorder or anything else. So most of what was said or done was private. It was just minutes were posted, and so now it's, yeah, kind of, I guess I never even thought about that. You kind of have to be careful how much you share.
Yes, maybe I'll start putting into the very beginning of the meetings, a quick reminder before I start recording to, for everyone to be aware that will be recorded and posted. Good to know.
Yeah, there's certainly, advantages or benefits to recording and archiving the discussion so that for future reference, or if you're not able to attend the meetings, but then there's also concerns, whether they be privacy or whatever, just not being able to maybe candidly share your opinion. There might be all sorts of different various concerns. So something to think about and decide on.
Thank you, Ross. Thanks for putting that together.
Thank you, Ross.
We've got looks like we've got some pretty good things to talk about over the next couple months, which is nice to get us started. We don't have anything else on the agenda, but does anybody have any holiday plans or New Year's plans they wanted to share? No?
I'll share ours because it's going to be exciting.
Oh, yes, please.
We are taking Amtrak, leaving Monday. So cross our fingers, we get to leave on the train, an overnight train to Whitefish, Montana,
Wow.
to go skiing and go up to Glacier to cross country ski. And and we got sleeper car. So it's gonna be like, I'm blowing little 7-year-old minds that we get to sleep on the train. So that's what we're doing.
So excited for you. That is so
That's cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
we've
God.
never done this, and we thought, what the heck, let's take an adventure. So that's
Nobody's
what we're
ever done
doing. So we've been warned the train will be late. So we factored in hours in our we're not a big rush. We're supposed to get in at 7:30 in the morning on Tuesday, but we can't get into the rental house till like 3. So we've got lots of time.
Wow.
So I just hope we don't get stuck in a snowstorm and it's a Donner Party, but
We'll see.
we'll see. We're pretty excited. We're very excited in our household right now about, with Christmas, Santa's coming.
Oh, that's cool.
So awesome.
anyway,
It's the
yeah.
That's
babies.
nice.
I know. So Nora and I skied Sunday at Timberline in like a massive snowstorm. It was very fun.
Yeah.
Skied in a bunch of powder. We were hoping to ski Christmas Eve, but their projection is 17 inches of snow that day. And I don't know if I want to ski with almost 2 feet of snow during the day and then trying to
Wow.
get home for dinner. So I think
Wow.
I'm gonna have to break little hearts here and not go skiing, but maybe we'll go sledding in the golf course on Sunday.
Yes.
There we go.
So anyway, that's our exciting news here at the M&M Palace.
Excellent, Sarah. I hope that you have a great, I've never had a sleeper car before. I hope you have
I know.
Yeah.
We've taken the train like to Seattle. So
Yeah.
this is, that's a 4-hour trip. So, this is a 13-hour, so an overnight.
Wow.
So we were like, okay,
That's
We're gonna
cool.
it'll be like the whole scene. Well, not quite, but my favorite Christmas movie is White Christmas. You've got Bing Crosby and they're all getting on the train and leaving Miami to go up to North. So anyway,
Oh, boy.
I'll have to sing White Christmas or something.
Yes.
We are all
I'd like to
going to
say-
live
I'd like to-
vicariously. through
Exactly.
you, Sarah.
And then next
Right.
meeting, I'll come back next meeting and I'll give you an update on how it went.
Yes,
It might be
please.
Thank you.
fantastic or it might have been a huge disaster, but oh well.
Either way, it'll be
Exciting.
exciting. to
Either
hear.
way, it's gonna be exciting.
And Patty?
I'd like to say, welcome to John and please come back.
Oh, yes.
Thank you. I will.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
a great group. Great group.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Please
people.
come back in January. You can, hey, we still have a few slots on our board if you want to join.
Oh, that's
Well, step
Or
by
you can
step.
Or you can just attend and, voice your opinion as a wonderful neighbor on what we should be doing. So,
No, I like it. This is a great group. Thank you.
happy to have.
well, we're very happy to have you.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
without further ado, I believe we may be ready to adjourn unless there's another comment anyone would like to make.
Happy
make 'em.
holidays, everyone.
You too.
Stay
too.
safe, stay warm. Well, except Sarah, because she'll be skiing. so
Yeah.
She'll be
Oh my
cold.
God, it's supposed to be like 11 degrees. So,
Oh,
it-
my
Right?
yeah,
I will-
well, it's
I
supposed
will
to be
have my
really
heating
cold
cut
here
out,
too.
so.
So, you know,
Wow.
John, welcome to Portland.
Thank you.
And
Welcome.
Yeah.
you might want to get a
thank you.
snow shovel before
Yeah,
next week.
it looks that way. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you might get to see snow, and I know you don't see it in LA. And
No, for sure. Not for 40 years.
yeah, exactly.
God.
So
Yeah.
you might want to find some boot chains. They make those if you
Oh, yeah?
have to like walk to the
Mhm.
grocery store so you don't fall, or get your
Okay.
golf shoes out.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good
Absolutely.
advice.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go
I-
make dinner.
I move
Right.
to
See you in a
wish
month.
everyone a happy holidays and adjourn
Oh.
the meeting.
All
Yeah.
right.
Thank you,
Ross.
Happy
Thank
holidays.
you.
All right, Happy New Year.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year.